Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Can't wait to get into today's Mindset and Motivation Monday. One of my favorite topics to speak on, and that is sticking to your plan and not your mood. One of my favorite quotes, and I've got a lot of great quotes for you here today. If you like quotes, you're going to love this episode here today. It's that emotions are real, but not reliable when it comes to executing on a long-term plan. And I'm going to share all the different reasons why here today, but you have to understand is that our willpower and our emotions are waning. Sometimes we feel good. Sometimes we feel energetic. Sometimes we feel emotionally ready to take that next step. And then there are also going to be times when we aren't. And the way that we ultimately then get to our goals without having to rely on willpower, inspiration, motivation, or positive emotions is by discipline. Discipline is the follow through. Discipline is the thing that enables us to get our stuff together when we don't necessarily feel like it, right? So I'm going to go through all those different items here today. The first one, maybe the most important, is that you decide once and only once, but you execute daily. So when you set up your 12-week year, and if you've never heard about that before, I'll link that show up for you here today at stephencabral.com/3433. But you only decide once. Once you've visualized your future, once you have your why as to why you want to achieve a certain thing that brings you fulfillment, your family fulfillment, provides a service to others. Once it's been decided that is something important to you and you've scheduled it backwards, this is the next 12 weeks, then all you need to do is say, yes, I am ready today. I'm going to make this happen. You schedule it, you make it happen, and that is your decision. From then on, it's just about execution. So if you built it into your calendar, which I'll talk about just as a recap towards the end of the show, it's done. So now it is the discipline to follow you through, not whether you want to or not. So this is a great one. I love this quote as well, is that athletes don't feel like training every day, but champions show up. Right? So there are days when I don't want to exercise. Now, I'm not an elite athlete. I'm not an Olympic athlete, never have been, never will be. There's some days I'm more sore than others. Some days I'm more tired than others. Some days I have more work than others. Like there's always something going on. But if I have it in my calendar and it is a workout day, I need to show up. Right? Am I looking to, again, train for the Olympics? No, that's why it's even more challenging. It's like nobody knows except me. I don't have a coach standing beside me. It is also one of the benefits, though, to getting a coach, right? A personal trainer, a health coach, integrative health practitioner, someone that's going to keep you accountable when it's sometimes difficult to keep just us accountable to us. Another great quote for you. Motivation gets you going. Discipline keeps you growing. Right? So motivation is to get to the starting line. That is it, right? That's the start to your race, but most of us aren't just racing, a 25-minute 5K or whatever it might be. What we're looking at is a 12-month plan broken down into quarters over 12 weeks. Or the second one is this: your mood is a liar. Momentum is a truth teller. Again, another great quote. Why? Because moods fluctuate. That's what I shared with you at the beginning of the show. You're going to feel different from day to day, and honestly, maybe even from hour to hour, depending on what you ate, your energy levels, do you take in caffeine, do you crash a few hours later, your blood sugar levels, inflammation, all this matters, right? It's also why we try to set ourselves up for success with a good morning routine. That we're getting in exercise if you choose to at that time of the day, a solid breakfast, not necessarily just running on caffeine and fumes, right? That's a big part of it. But action also creates emotion. So whenever I don't feel necessarily energized, what I do is I start to get into the task that I'm delaying, that I'm procrastinating on. Honestly, it could even be recording a show. I love being able to read, research, record, and write. But truthfully, some days are stronger than others. But I'll tell you this, once I dive into the show, immediately that energy starts to come back. We have something in IHP Mastery we call the 2-minute rule. Some people call it the 5-minute rule. It's basically do the thing that you don't want to do for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, that's it. And tell your mind, because that's all that's holding you back, tell your mind that if you still don't want to, after 5 minutes of doing the thing, then you can take the sneakers off from the workout, you can press the off button on recording, whatever it is. But give yourself that 5 minutes to at least get started. All right. This is a big one, build emotional immunity by taking action before the mood shifts. So if you have your day scheduled, hopefully you've already scheduled some breaks in there. Like you have a lunch break. Don't work through your lunch. Create a little bit of a break there, maybe mid-afternoon. So you work to your breaks, whatever that might be. in your exercise program. If you have 5 exercises in a row for a circuit, you don't necessarily break between them except going exercise to exercise. You break after the 5 are done. So build that into your routine so your mind also knows that it's time to work or it's time to rest. Really important. All right, the third one, last one is this. The gap between mood and action is identity. This will make sense in just a second. Who you are becoming when you show up, and especially when you don't want to, is what builds character and your new identity. So I'll tell you right now that if you were already the person that you needed to be in order to achieve your goal, you already would have achieved it. Now, that's not a slight, myself included. There are things that we want to achieve in this world that are now currently greater than we are. It doesn't mean we don't have that potential inside of us. It's just we have not stepped up yet to that level. So whatever it is that you're looking to achieve, you need to then create a new identity as the person who is worthy and takes the actions necessary in order to achieve that goal. And once you achieve that goal, the outcome is the life that you've been looking to lead or the thing that you're looking to have. And that is vitally important. We need to become a better version of ourselves, not somebody else, but we need to become a better version of ourselves in order to have that next level in life. So when you say, I don't feel like it or any of those things, that is your old self creeping back in, trying to keep you in that uncomfortable, comfortable zone, the zone that you already know, right? But that's not going to get you to the next level. So when you say, I do it because this is who I am now. This is who I am now. You're no longer the person that makes all the excuses. That's not you. You're the person that gets after your goals with discipline, not emotion-based. Emotions are fine. There's nothing wrong with having emotions. I certainly enjoy all the emotions of life. That's not it. But when it comes to getting done what you've already scheduled for yourself based on your goals, you have to push through the emotions sometimes. And you don't want to be necessarily, just completely raw and just callous and not care about anything else. It's not about that. It's not being a machine. That's not what I'm saying. But if there are days that go by, and hopefully not weeks, but if weeks have gone by without you getting back on track to your goals, that is the old self. And that is not the individual that you're looking to mimic and become. You're looking to break out of that layer, that molting of who you were to who you need to be. So I want to leave you with this, just a few practical tips. I've got 4 of them total for you. The first one is this: create the proper AM routine for you. So again, don't listen to everybody else where there are some people who just dive right into work, right? Work. Okay, I get it. I've done that for many years. That's not me. That is not the way to get good long-term results for me. That's the way I can do that for a few months at a time and then burn out. But it might work for other people. Some people, they wake up, they exercise. Some people, they wake up, they do their prayers. Some people, they wake up and they put their face in a cold, bowl of water. Well, whatever works for you, but create an AM routine that's going to at least enable you for the next 12 weeks to set yourself up for success. And that means simply day in and day out, hitting the action plan you've set for yourself. That's it. That's your success over the next 12 weeks. You may change it over your next 12-week year, but for the first 12 weeks, no. That is the plan. That is what we need to stick to. Pre-commit. I love this one. So my today is scheduled the previous night. And technically, it's scheduled out the previous week at least, right? And there are some things that are always the same time every single day. But you need to pre-commit, which means that you schedule tomorrow today. That's really what it's all about. So I don't leave my office and I don't put my phone away for the night without already scheduling my tomorrow. And if there are openings in the day, I know nothing's going to get done. That's just going to be procrastination and whatever it might be. I'll put something positive in there. That might be if there's an opening, reading a book that I've wanted to get to or whatever it might be. Okay, so it's like catching up with a friend, whatever it is. Like I scheduled that, all the things based on me wanting to improve my health, body, relationships, spirituality, and career overall, right? So it's like when you look at those things, you say, what bucket do I need a little bit more work in? Now, the exercises, the exercise that's already scheduled, the work time scheduled, all my meetings scheduled, my family time, it's already in there. Literally put the things in. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to be overly scheduled minute to minute. It's just like, these are time blocks, the time blocks of your life. And if you don't schedule them, you know what happens? You're just on your phone, like most people. I'm the same exact way. So it's not like I have this like special power not to be distracted by that. But this phone right here for social media gets very little use now for social media. It really does. And it's not that I don't enjoy it. I'll play around on social media for 30 minutes, see what people are doing, what's going on, catch up, just with some of my favorite people that I wouldn't necessarily get to see. And so those things are all fine, but are they moving you towards your goals? No. And doing that consistently over and over is going to now push you back again towards the old self. And you're going to look back this October, November, you're like, another wasted year. All right, let me get after it this coming January. Don't start. You've got a good 6 months or whenever you're listening to this show in the year to recalibrate right now. All right, the third one is this: anchor your why. Why does that matter? Because at the end of the day, some days you're tired, some days you don't feel like it. But if you go back to your why am I doing this, right? Why did I get started in the first place? Have your why, not just the action, but your why. Why did you want to do this? So if you want to lose the weight, why do you want to lose the weight? It might not be vanity based, right? That might not be the reason. That's totally fine if it is. But it might be, you know what? You don't want to die in your late 60s. You don't want to die in your mid 70s. Like that's a great reason why, right? Literally, mortality is a very good reason. You've worked hard for your life. You want to stay healthy. You don't want to have all the joint pain and the inflammation and taking a half a dozen pills, every single day for those pharmaceuticals just to keep you alive, right? That's not what you want, right? So you have a specific why as to you doing the things that you do. Truthfully, I talk about this all the time. I have a love-hate relationship with running. I don't love to run. I never really have. I like the benefit that I get from it. I like when I'm done with it, but not necessarily my favorite thing to do. I like lifting weights. I like playing sports. I even like going for a sprint sometimes. Going for a long run, not so much. But I've found a way to enjoy it. Why? Because of my why. That I want to have a healthy heart. That I want to reduce all-cause mortality. That I want to keep my blood sugar, blood pressure, all those levels strong. So it's like you have your why, and then also you try to make it fun. Okay, during my run, I don't get to listen to a lot of the podcasts I would like during the week or whatever it might be. So on a longer run on the weekend, great. I get to listen to that. Later in the day, if I'm doing a run, I get to listen to those. So you kind of, again, in IHP Mastery, what do we call that? It's not just habit stacking, but it's temptation bundling. All the things that you want to do, you save it and do it while you're trying to be a little bit more productive. All right, the last one is this: track your streaks, not perfection. So when I coach a lot of clients, what I'm looking to do is they just print out one of those free online like win calendars or whatever they are. It's just 12 months. It's totally blank, but every single month can be printed out just as on an 8.5 by 11. And all they have to do is take a pencil or pen and they just check or X off the day that they did the thing, that they stuck to the plan. Whether it was the nutrition, the supplementation, the exercise, whatever is part of their plan. And they just put an X. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's all they need to do. So what are we doing? We're just tracking progress. Like we're tracking a streak, and you can do the same thing right at home. Again, even if we're not working together, you can do this because that's all that you're looking to do. And the reason is this, is that no one hits their goals if it's a big goal after like a week or 2 weeks of being on a streak. What I am trying to teach a lot of my clients is that we need to do this for weeks and months, and it needs to just be ingrained in who we are. And then what happens is after 3 months, 4 months, we look back like, wow, that's a lot of progress. And then you look back after a year, like, I can't even believe the progress I made. And then 3 years, I'm a different human. But none of that happens without the mundane of the daily in and out actions. That's really what it is. And it just has to become part of your life. And you have to love the journey, love the process. So that's really what I want to get to. I'm going to leave you with this, is that you can have excuses or you can have results, but you can't have both. Hopefully today's show is helpful. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning into the Cabral Concept. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new show. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.